The stock market was on a roll today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, a key measure of the market, shot up by a massive 3,000 points. That's a huge jump. Why did this happen? President Trump announced a pause on tariffs. This news made investors very happy. They are now more optimistic about the economy. What are tariffs, you ask? Well, they are basically taxes on goods coming from other countries. Let's say a company in the United States wants to buy steel from another country. If there's a tariff on that steel, the company has to pay extra money to import it. This makes the steel more expensive. President Trump had put tariffs on goods from many countries. These tariffs were part of a broader strategy aimed at reshaping the global trade landscape. By imposing these tariffs, the administration hoped to create a more level playing field for American businesses which had long been at a disadvantage due to what they perceived as unfair trade practices by other nations. The tariffs targeted a wide range of goods, from steel and aluminum to electronics and agricultural products. This was part of his plan to protect American jobs and businesses. The idea was to encourage companies to manufacture more products domestically, thereby boosting the American economy and reducing reliance on foreign imports. Many American workers and business owners initially welcomed the tariffs, hoping they would lead to a resurgence in domestic manufacturing and job creation. The administration argued that these measures were necessary to revitalize industries that had been in decline for decades. However, these tariffs have also caused some problems. While the intention was to protect American industries, the reality proved to be more complex. Many businesses found themselves struggling with higher costs for raw materials and components, which in turn led to increased prices for consumers. Small businesses in particular were hit hard, as they often lacked the resources to absorb these additional costs. Some had to make difficult decisions, such as laying off workers or even closing their doors. They have made some goods more expensive for American businesses and consumers. Everyday items, from groceries to electronics, saw price hikes, putting a strain on household budgets. Consumers began to feel the pinch, and public opinion on the tariffs became increasingly divided. While some continued to support the measures as a necessary step to protect American jobs, others criticized them for making life more expensive and challenging for ordinary people. Now, President Trump has decided to pause these tariffs for 90 days. This decision comes after mounting pressure from various sectors, including business leaders, economists, and even some members of his own party. The pause is seen as a temporary relief measure, giving businesses and consumers a much-needed break from the financial strain caused by the tariffs. It also provides an opportunity for further negotiations and discussions on how to address the underlying issues in a more sustainable way. This means that for the next 3 months, companies will not have to pay these extra taxes on goods from over 75 countries. The hope is that this reprieve will allow businesses to stabilize and plan for the future without the immediate pressure of additional costs. It also aims to ease the burden on consumers, who have been grappling with higher prices for essential goods. As the 90-day period unfolds, all eyes will be on the administration to see what long-term solutions they propose to balance the need for fair trade with the economic realities faced by American businesses and consumers. The stock market loved President Trump's announcement. The Dow Jones Industrial Average surged over 3,000 points. That's one of the biggest one-day gains ever. Why did the market react so positively? Well, investors believe that this tariff pause will be good for the economy. They think it will boost trade and help businesses grow. China remains affected. A key exception. There's one important thing to note: not all tariffs are gone. The pause does not apply to goods from China. China is a major trading partner of the United States. The ongoing trade tensions between the two countries have been a source of uncertainty for businesses and investors. President Trump has said that he is still negotiating with China to try to reach a trade deal. Businesses breathe easier, relief from trade tensions. In recent years, the global trade landscape has been fraught with uncertainty and tension. Tariffs and trade barriers have created a challenging environment for businesses, particularly those that rely heavily on international supply chains. However, a recent pause in tariffs has brought a sigh of relief to many American businesses, offering a glimmer of hope for a more stable and predictable future. The tariff pause is good news for American businesses. For many companies, the cost of importing essential materials and goods had skyrocketed due to the tariffs. This increase in costs was often passed down to consumers, leading to higher prices for everyday items. The pause in tariffs means that businesses can now import goods at a lower cost, which can help stabilize prices for consumers as well. Many businesses have been hurt by the tariffs. Small businesses in particular have struggled to stay afloat. With thinner profit margins and less flexibility to absorb increased costs, many small businesses face the harsh reality of closing their doors. The tariff pause offers these businesses a chance to recover and rebuild, potentially saving jobs and revitalizing local economies. They have had to pay more for imported goods. This has been especially challenging for industries that rely on raw materials and components from abroad. The increased costs have not only affected their bottom line but also their ability to compete in a global market. By alleviating some of these financial pressures, the tariff pause allows these industries to regain their competitive edge. This has made it harder for them to compete. When businesses are forced to pay more for the same goods, they often have to make difficult decisions, such as cutting back on production, laying off workers, or even relocating operations to countries with lower costs. The tariff pause provides a much-needed respite, enabling businesses to focus on growth and innovation, rather than merely surviving. The tariff pause will give these businesses some much-needed relief. It creates an environment where businesses can plan for the future with greater confidence. This stability is crucial for long-term investments and strategic planning. With reduced costs, businesses can allocate resources to other critical areas such as research and development, employee training, and expanding their market reach. They will be able to import goods without paying the extra taxes. This is particularly beneficial for industries such as manufacturing, technology, and retail, which depend heavily on imported goods. The ability to import without the added financial burden of tariffs means that these industries can operate more efficiently and effectively. This will help them to lower their costs and improve their bottom line. Lower costs translate to higher profitability, which can lead to business expansion, job creation, and overall economic growth. The ripple effect of this tariff pause can be significant, fostering a more robust and resilient economy. As businesses thrive, they contribute to a healthier economic landscape, benefiting not just the companies themselves but also their employees, customers, and the broader community. Consumers hope for price breaks, a wait-and-see approach. What about consumers? Will they see any benefits from the tariff pause? It's possible that some prices may come down, but it's not guaranteed. If businesses are able to import goods more cheaply, they may pass those savings on to consumers in the form of lower prices. However, there's no guarantee that this will happen. We'll have to wait and see how things play out. A positive step for the economy. But uncertainty remains. The tariff pause is generally seen as a positive step for the U.S. economy. This pause is expected to alleviate some of the pressures that businesses have been facing due to the ongoing trade tensions. By halting the tariffs, companies can better plan their operations and investments without the looming threat of additional costs. This move is particularly beneficial for industries that rely heavily on imported materials and components, as it provides them with a much-needed respite. It should help to boost trade and reduce uncertainty. Businesses can now focus on growth and expansion, rather than merely surviving the trade war. The stock market has already shown positive reactions to the news, with many investors feeling more confident about the future. This renewed optimism could lead to increased investments and job creation, further strengthening the economy. However, it's important to remember that this is just a temporary measure. The pause is set to last for 90 days, during which time the U.S. and its trading partners must work towards new trade agreements. If these negotiations fail, the tariffs could be reinstated, bringing back the uncertainty and potential economic strain. This temporary nature of the pause means that businesses and investors must remain cautious and prepared for any outcome. The tariffs could come back in 90 days if the U.S. and its trading partners don't reach new trade agreements. This looming deadline puts pressure on all parties involved to find a mutually beneficial solution. Trade negotiations are often complex and time-consuming, involving numerous stakeholders and intricate details. The success of these talks will depend on the willingness of each side to compromise and find common ground. So while there's reason for optimism, there's still some uncertainty about the future. Businesses must continue to monitor the situation closely and be ready to adapt to any changes that may arise. The outcome of these trade negotiations will have far-reaching implications, not just for the US economy, but for the global market as well. As we move forward, it is crucial to stay informed and prepared for any eventualities. Cautious optimism. So, what does all this mean for investors? The market's reaction to the tariff pause suggests that investors are feeling more optimistic about the economy. This could be a good time to invest in the stock market. However, it's important to remember that the market can be volatile. It's always best to do your research and invest carefully. Stay informed. Subscribe for more market insights. The world of finance and investing is constantly changing. New developments can happen quickly. It's crucial to stay informed about these changes to make smart decisions with your money. If you want to stay up to date on the latest market trends and insights, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep you informed every step of the way.